Hello students, welcome to Legacy Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about ALMA telescope, which was in news recent times. And recently, it has been announced that it will get both hardware and software upgrade. And basically, it is akin to providing new brain to this particular telescope. Now, this is one of the most important space telescope that is present in the world today. So, we'll try to understand what is the significance of this recent update and what is the role that ALMA telescope has played in the past as far as the space exploration is concerned. So first of all, to understand that why this particular issue is news, so recently Atacama Large Millimeter or Submillimeter Array, which is the full form of ALMA telescope, which is an example of radio telescope, it's set to get both software as well as the hardware upgrades. This will help this particular telescope in collecting much more data and produce much more clearer or sharper pictures, sharper images than ever before. And as per the announcement done by the National Science Foundation of United States, the upgrade would take almost around 5 years to be completed fully, and overall it will accrue a cost of almost $37 million. So let us try to understand that what these updates will be all about. So basically in this update, the most important part of this update is that the correlator of the telescope will be completely changed. That means it will be replaced by new, more advanced and modern correlator. Correlator can be considered as a type of supercomputer or main brain of this particular telescope, which helps this particular telescope in getting images from different antennas and then join them together, combine them together to form a single sharper image. So basically that is what the supercomputer does. It combines the input from individual antennas, because there are more than 50 antennas which are part of this particular telescope, and thus allow the astronomers to produce a very detailed image of the celestial objects which they are observing. And as far as the scientists are concerned, they have said that the upgrade, once completed, will double or eventually quadruple the overall observing speed of this particular telescope. Even now, when we are talking about the present supercomputer, present correlator of this particular telescope, it is believed to be one of the fastest supercomputer of the world, and that speed will also become double or quadruple in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, if you look at about the ALMA telescope, we'll try to understand the ALMA telescope. So as you can see, this is the clear picture of ALMA telescope. We can see different types of arrays. Total 66 arrays are there. And the telescope has been functioning since year 2013. And it has been designed, planned and constructed by three major organizations. One is National Radio Astronomy Organization from the United States of America. Second, we have is National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. And third is the European Southern Observatory from the European Union. So these are the three major organizations responsible for the designing, planning and construction of the particular telescope. If we try to understand slightly more in detail about this ALMA telescope, so it is believed all across the world among the major cosmologists that it is a state-of-the-art telescope which studies celestial objects at the wavelength of millimeter and even at sub-millimeter level. The main significance of this telescope, the main we can say QSP of this particular telescope, is that it can penetrate through the dust clouds in the galaxy, in the solar system and around the solar system, and also far deeper into the cosmos. And thus by this method, it is helping astronomers to examine even those galaxies and stars which are far beyond our solar system, which are basically very dim. The light, by the time it arrives to the earth, becomes so dim, so less, that it is very difficult to observe them. But due to the help of with the help of ALMA telescope, even the dim and distant galaxies and stars can be clearly visible. Also, since ALMA telescope has extraordinary level of sensitivity, it allows it to detect even extremely faint radio signals that might be coming from deep beyond in the space, which can also help us in understanding the origin of our universe, the origin of our cosmos. Apart from that, if you look at the overall structure of this particular telescope, it is made up of 66 high precision antennas which are spread over a distance of up to 16 kilometers. Now, each of these antennas are fitted with receivers, and these series of receivers are tuned to measure the waves coming from the deep space in a specific range of wavelength somewhere on the electromagnetic spectrum. And also how we adjust the lens of the camera for zoom in or zoom out. In similar way, the antennas and the receivers of this particular telescope can also be moved closer together or farther apart for different perspective. depending on whether the scientists want to zoom in on a particular area of space or whether they want to look at a larger picture or a bigger picture. So this is akin to operating of any handheld camera. And it is due to these characteristics, due to the ALMA telescope, scientists and the cosmologists have been able to get magnificent, never before seen imagery of deepest, darkest space, about which few decades back only imagination could have been possible. If you look at the location that where this particular telescope is situated, so it is situated at a height of almost 5050 meters above the sea level on a plateau which is called as Jayanagara plateau. This Jayanagara plateau is a part of South American country that is called as Chile, and as you can see from here on the diagram, you can see this black dot. This is where the Atacama large millimeter submillimeter array is situated. Also, this entire plateau is part of the driest place on the earth, which is the Chile's Atacama desert. And the question comes that why scientists have decided to put this telescope in this driest part of the world, in this driest desert of the world. So the answer is very, very simple. The kind of measurement, the kind of waves this ALMA telescope is measuring, that is in the range of millimeters and submillimeters, which are to be observed, are very, very susceptible to the atmospheric water vapor. And as what happens if suppose this telescope were placed at some other place where there is continuous clouds, where there is a huge amount of water vapor in the sky, then these waves that is coming from the outer space will get distorted and thus will not have true reading by this telescope. And thus, by putting this telescope in the driest part of the earth, in the Chile's Atacama desert, and here most of nights since are clear of clouds and free of moisture, the light coming from the light coming from the deep space, the waves coming from deep space do not get distorted, and we get true clear picture of the of the universe. So the question comes that since 2013, almost 10 years has passed since this telescope has become functional. What are the notable discoveries that has been made by the ALMA? So first notable discovery that it made somewhere in year 2015 was that for the first time it found starburst galaxies. Now what is a starburst galaxy? It basically refers to such galaxy which is undergoing an exceptionally high rate of star formation if you compare it with the long-term average rate of star formation in any galaxy. And thus, the starburst galaxies were earlier believed by cosmologists that they used to exist very near to the very closer to the time of formation of solar system. But after observation by ALMA telescope, we now understand that these galaxies were found much earlier in the history of universe than previously thought. So it gives us a new viewpoint about starburst galaxy. Then somewhere 1 year later, it also provided us with a detailed image of a protoplanetary disk that is surrounding the HL Tauri, which is a star, a very young T Tauri star, which is situated in the constellation Taurus, which is almost 450 light years away from our Earth. Protoplanetary disk basically refers to a dense disk, a dense cloud of gas and vapor, also cosmic dust, which is surrounding or which is rotating around a dense star. So, understanding of protoplanetary disk by observation of protoplanetary disk, basically ALMA has helped and transformed the previously accepted theories about the planetary formation, because it is through the protoplanetary disk when the condensation happens, when the temperature drops, gradually the cosmic materials condense together, they come together to form the planets around the star. As we have seen, we have a sun, that is the stars, and around that we have the eight planets. So how these planets develop, how these planets form, that also a new insight was given by the observation from the ALMA telescope. If you look at some of the pictures that has been taken by ALMA telescope, so as we can see, this is a picture of the starburst galaxy, which we can see there is a sudden increase in the density around the center, which causes the formation of massive number of stars, high number of stars. And this is the protoplanetary disk that we're talking about. In the center, we can see we have a bright burning star, that is Tauri T, and around that we have the protoplanetary disk, a dense cloud of gas, dust, and we can say particles that will condense to form the planets. Then further in year 2015, it also helped us in for the first time viewing the Einstein ring, which is also called as gravitational lensing. So Einstein ring refers to the phenomena when a light coming from a far distant star, when it reaches toward the earth, due to presence of heavy celestial body in the path of this light, it gets distorted. For example, the light that is coming from here is not able to travel in a straight line, rather than it takes a curved path, and thus when we are looking or observing this particular star from the earth, we are able to see two different images, one image on this side and one image on this side. So this helps us in understanding that in between the path there is a massive celestial body which is causing the gravitational lensing. So this is also for the first time was observed by the ALMA telescope. Then further in year 2022, the month of May, the first image of a supermassive black hole. Black hole is the celestial body having very high gravitational mass, and the mass is so higher and the gravitational field around it becomes so stronger that even it is believed that light cannot escape once it goes inside the black hole. So the first image of the supermassive black hole at the center of our own Milky Way galaxy was discovered by the ALMA telescope, and this was under the project which is called as Event Horizon Telescope project. So if you look at the pictures again, this is what we can see how a black hole at the center of galaxy look like, and this is actually the picture, slightly blurred actually it seems, was taken by the ALMA telescope. So what is Event Horizon Telescope Array, of which ALMA telescope is also a very important part? So basically it is a project which includes a lot of different telescopes in different part of the world, mostly in North America, South America, and the Europe. For example, the major telescopes here are we have James Clerk telescope, then we have Karma telescope, then we have the Apex, Aste, Arrow telescope. Also, we have one telescope at the South Pole that is called as SPT South Pole telescope, and then further two major telescopes that is IRAM and NOEMA in the Europe. So all these telescopes work in consonance with each other to get a much clearer, much better and bigger picture of the universe which we are picking. So what we can say in conclusion, that with ALMA's capability of capturing high resolution images of gas and dust from which stars and planets are generally forming, the materials planets are formed and materials that could be building blocks of the life, scientists are trying to find answers to the age-old questions of our cosmic origins about which we have very less understanding as of now. So hope in the future that with the increased capabilities of ALMA, we'll be able to peek and gaze into the far distance in the cosmos, and we'll be able to unveil that what is lying beyond our observable universe. So that is all for this particular video. I hope you understood about the significance of ALMA telescope and the recent update related to that. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.